This isn't a video I ever intended to or wanted to have to make, but if you enjoy the great outdoors, listen up, because this impacts you. If you examine the Bureau of Land Management Public Land Statistics reports from 2001 through 2021, you'll find that Americans have suffered a net loss of 17,471,691 acres of public land. On average, 1.5 acres of public land are lost every minute.
That means by the time you're done watching this video, we'll lose about 10 football fields worth of public land. That's unimaginable, right? So let's talk about this.
This isn't some new issue. It's been going on for quite a while, and there are several different facets to the issue of the loss of public land. I'm certainly no authority on this matter, but given my love of overlanding, you can understand how this topic would pique my interest. And frankly, I'm pretty surprised that more overlanding YouTubers don't really talk about this. So the point of this video is to just help create more awareness so that future generations can continue to enjoy the great outdoors.
Let's start with the most confusing aspect of all of this: inaccessible public land. You heard that right. That's public land that's there for you and I to freely use recreationally, only you can't get to it.
Would you be surprised to learn that roughly 16.5 million acres of public land in the US are inaccessible? Yeah, seriously. But why? Because those parcels that add up to the 16.5 million acres are completely surrounded by private land.
Yeah, landlocked, and you can't get to it. How did that happen?
Public land can be disposed by whatever agency manages that land and sold to the highest bidder. Over time, the parcels that were disposed created a very fragmented landscape. Have you ever been on an off-road trail that's on public land and you come across a locked gate that has a private property no trespassing sign? Sometimes that's fragmented land parcels, and up until fairly recently, property data was often terribly inaccurate and very outdated. There wasn't a magical one-stop shop for an accurate picture of nationwide land ownership information. One man started changing all of that in 2009. Eric Siegfried, an avid hunter and Montana resident, wanted a simple-to-use solution for outdoorsmen to avoid trespassing on private property. What began as a personal project, collecting property line data and then loading that data onto a micro SD card to use on his Garmin GPS handheld device, eventually evolved into OnX. If you use any mapping app that shows public land borders, you've probably seen land ownership fragmentation before and didn't really think much of it. This is from the OnX Offroad app, and as you can see, there are several parcels of BLM land that are landlocked by private land, making it inaccessible to the public. In 2018, the Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership and OnX were the first to bring this issue to the attention of policymakers in Washington, D.C. Through their tireless efforts, legislation like the Land and Water Conservation Fund, the Great American Outdoors Act, and the Modernizing Access to Our Public Land Act were made possible. To find out more about inaccessible public land, visit trcp.org/unlockingpubliclands. If you want mobile offline access to public land information when you're out adventuring, consider a subscription to OnX. I put links for both of those in the description and in the comments below.
Recently, I learned that the Bureau of Land Management is considering what they're calling a land swap in the Sand Mountain area of Utah, an area that's well known to off-road enthusiasts.
This definitely isn't the first time public land with well-used areas have been on the potential chopping block, and it won't be the last.
Maybe you've never been to this area, and maybe you never planned to, so why should this matter to you? Well, we all know the old saying, right? Give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
In this case, The Washington County Water Conservancy District is asking the BLM to swap a 1,050-acre parcel of public land that's home to several off-road trails and dispersed camping areas with 89 acres of private land. So that private landowner gets a 961-acre bonus, and the city of Washington plans to annex a large portion of that 1,050 acres to, I can only assume, create more housing in this high-growth area.
Maybe Agent Smith was right all along.
You move to an area and you multiply. And multiply until every natural resource is consumed.
Obviously, I don't know all of the intricacies involved in this deal, but you can kind of guess what's going on behind closed doors. You want to help stop this? You have until April 19th to submit your comments to the BLM.
The easiest way to do that is to visit sharetrails.org/stop the sale of Sand Mountain. I put that link down in the description and in the comments. There, you can read more about this proposal, and you can use their handy-dandy email form to send a comment to the BLM. Sharetrails.org is run by the Blue Ribbon Coalition, a nonprofit organization that fights for motorized public land access. The Blue Ribbon Coalition was founded in 1987 after then Idaho Governor John Evans told founder Clark Collins that recreationists are not politically significant.
What?
If you enjoy overlanding, off-roading, camping, or just the outdoors in general, go submit a comment to the BLM to help stop this land swap. The more we do nothing, the more freedoms we lose.
Stay in the loop on this and other motorized public access issues on the Blue Ribbon Coalition website, sharetrails.org, because
knowing is half the battle.
Another reason we continue to lose public land is, well, us. People.
Areas get closed or have restricted access because of irresponsible people.
If you're that guy that doesn't pack out his trash, I'm gonna say it. Stop venturing to the great outdoors. We don't want you out there.
Look, public land is there for us to enjoy, and it asks for nothing in return other than your respect. And it's not just about give a hoot, don't pollute. Don't be that guy who decides that parking your rig on a waterfall would make a great Instagram photo.
Very nice.
That's the kind of thing that can also get trails shut down.
If you're not sure about what you should do and what you shouldn't do when you're out adventuring, I encourage you to visit treadlightly.org to find out more about how to enjoy the great outdoors responsibly, no matter what activities you enjoy.
They have tips for overlanders, hikers, anglers, hunters, and everything else. Again, there's a link in the description and down in the comments.
I know I said it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. The more we do nothing, the more freedoms we lose. The price of freedom isn't paid by our tax dollars. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. I know we all have more pressing personal matters as we navigate the struggles of everyday life. But I'll leave you with this quote.
Here is your country. Cherish these natural wonders. Cherish the natural resources. Cherish the history and romance as a sacred heritage for your children and your children's children. Do not let selfish men or greedy interests skin your country of its beauty, its riches, or its romance.